What's going on, everybody? My name is Anthony Galaxy, and today I wanted to talk about World War III. No, not the one you may horrifyingly experience in your lifetime. I'm talking about the free-to-play multiplayer FPS from the people over at the Farm 51. They're a Polish game development company that has created something I really think you're gonna like. But before we get into today's video, I wanted to point out that this is a new style of video for my channel. If y'all enjoy these kinds of videos, please let me know in the comments. Maybe even drop a like if you like the video, and subscribe to the channel to help support my content. Any and all support is seriously appreciated. I cannot overstate that. But without further ado, let's get into it. So World War III is a free-to-play PC game. It is currently in open beta. It offers 2 different game modes at the moment, a solid array of weapons to choose from, and it encourages numerous styles of play. This game's interesting because, well, it pulls inspiration from various AAA titles. Not sure if you heard of them. They're a little not well known, but I'm talking about Call of Duty, Battlefield, and even Rainbow Six Siege. Because of this, you're able to run and gun or methodically take your time clearing rooms as you traverse the map, taking every step with as much precaution as you can. Or, believe it or not, you can run around quick scoping left and right with no problem. And that is my preferred way to play. I'm just one of those guys. And it feels so good. It's surprising how much fun you can have, well, playing any way you like on this game. And each of these kinds of styles of play, they're viable. Like, you will actually have a good experience through and through with whatever way you choose to play the game. While it does reward some over others in different ways, it's, like I said, very viable if you want to run around as fast as you can, or if you want to use a sniper, or if you want to, like I said, take your time and really play the game as tactically as possible. You'll see what I mean if you check it out. But World War III currently has 2 game modes, Team Deathmatch and what's called Tactical Ops. Team Deathmatch has a slight twist where each match is a best 2 out of 3. The first team to reach 50 kills wins the round. You win 2 rounds and you win the match. Pretty simple stuff. Small to medium-sized maps is where this game mode takes place, and it's a bit faster paced gameplay. So if that's your style, then that's a good game mode to jump into. Otherwise, you have what's called Tactical Ops, and this game mode is ripped straight from Battlefield in a good way. Essentially takes place on large-scale battlefields. Vehicles are available for you to play. Score streaks are also available in this game mode. It is a 20v20, and basically you have to capture certain objectives around the map and hold those objectives in order to score points. The team with the most points at the end of 30 minutes wins the match, or if you reach 50,000 points, you will also win the match. That game mode, it definitely has some caveats to it, but like I said, if you want that kind of breathing room between firefights where you can run around the map and traverse a little bit more carefully, maybe be a little bit stealth about the way you're playing the game, that game mode is definitely for you. But either way, both game modes super fun and worth checking out either way. So yeah, score streaks. They are also in the game in the form of 3 categories, basically, with a little variation from the ways I'm about to describe them. But basically it breaks down into airborne recon, artillery strikes, or powerful vehicles like tanks or other large vehicles that have big old guns on them. You score points for your score streak by killing enemies, playing the objective, and it is worth mentioning, friendly fire is on. And because of this, if you end up shooting a teammate or killing one, you will lose points as a result. But I actually enjoy the fact friendly fire is on. It adds a little bit more pressure to the situation when you're trying to lace that shot through your teammate's thigh gap, and it it does not actually happen as often as I would think, where I get shot in the back of the head by one of my teammates or around the corner and I get shot. Most times when people accidentally shoot you, they throw down a med pack for you to heal up. But it's an interesting part of the game that I actually do enjoy as being a facet of gameplay. But the loadouts in particular in this game are pretty interesting. For one reason, I find that, well, there's a mechanic where you have weight. So basically, each item you take into the match and equip to your loadout has a specific weight to it. You have a maximum amount of weight that you can carry, but because of this, you can actually go ahead and take 2 primaries into the match without any perk needed. No overkill, nothing like that. But like I said, those primary weapons are a bit heavier than your sidearm. So if you do choose to carry 2 primaries, like myself, I use an AR and a sniper, you will have to sacrifice in an area, and that area is your armor. So essentially there are 3 different tiers of body armor, 2 different tiers of helmets. The body armor starts at light Kevlar, and then there's a medium Kevlar, and then there is reinforced steel. The higher the grade of armor, the longer you're going to be able to get shot without dying. But like I said, if you do want to run around with 2 primaries and able to swap the way you're playing the game at the change of a button, well, you're gonna sacrifice your armor, and basically by doing that, you also end up usually maxing out your weight carrying 2 primary weapons, and so that also has to do with your movement speed. So if you are a heavy loadout user, you're actually going to run a bit slower than somebody who, let's say, uses a submachine gun and a sidearm and keeps that weight as low as possible. If you do that, you will see that you do run around a bit faster. It kind of helps to get out of firefights that you might be losing as quick as possible, duck around cover a little easier. But aside from that, it is a pretty solid roll call of weapons and attachments. Each weapon has its own level, so that is the way you unlock attachments, and attachments obviously add certain effects to the gun you're using. And it's basically loadouts. The weight is something to take into consideration when picking your weapons that you're going to use for your loadout. But aside from that stuff, there is some criticisms that I do have for this game. But before I list them, just keep in mind this game is an open beta, and while server stability has greatly improved since the launch of this title in 2018, the game does have moments where latency's high and frames aren't really that high, and sometimes you can get a little bit of performance issues, but it's pretty rare, to be honest with you. The larger maps sometimes seem to facilitate a higher latency than, let's say, the team deathmatch matches that take place on the smaller maps. But like I said, it's something to mention, something to keep in mind, because this game is pretty well optimized. You can run this game on almost any computer that has a solid GPU in it. Like, I have a 1060 6GB GTX 1060 6GB, and I run this game 60 FPS, no problems at all. But aside from that, it's pretty interesting to say that the size of the map itself versus the size of the teams on the map have a lingering effect on a specific game mode, and that is tactical ops. Because those maps are so big and the teams, I assume because servers were an issue from the start, and finally in 2022 they've got it right, well, they keep that player count around 40 per match on those bigger maps. And because of that, sometimes the map can feel a little empty if you don't know where you're going and you're kind of just running around willy-nilly. But there are ways around it. So you can choose where you spawn. You can actually spawn in on teammates even if they're in a firefight. And that's one of the great things, is that while you can spawn in on captured objectives, you may not see any enemies around those specific objectives, which leaves, like I said, a little bit of a vacancy in the map itself. But if you do like that breathing room between firefights and you kind of like to maybe take things a little bit more stealthily, maybe jumping into a rock formation, setting up shop, or kind of hiding in a building, setting up a claymore and waiting for your victim to roll by, it maybe is not as much of a problem as I feel like it is. I just enjoy fast-paced gameplay as a personal preference. And while there are tons of moments of fast-paced gameplay in Tactical Ops, in particular, as a whole, it's a little empty feeling at times to me personally. But some of you guys might like that. So, and also, you can also jump in the team deathmatch, and that solves the whole problem. You can still play this game in a fast-paced environment. It's just you'll end up playing on those smaller maps. But yeah, to summarize things, this game's got a lot of good aspects, and I mean a lot of good aspects. Gunplay is awesome. The way your character moves around, leaves around corners, feels great. Sprinting, tactical sprinting, sliding, it really does have a smooth feel to it that I genuinely think people will enjoy. And when I had been live streaming this game on Twitch, talking to chat, they all had the same things to say. While this game can use a little more overall polish, and it sure will get it, considering the fact that after they have fixed these server issues that plagued this game for a few years now, people have been flocking back. I mean, this player base is solid. The wait for matches to actually, queue up and get you in, it's less than a minute. It's actually surprising. And like I said, sometimes you will have those matches that you jump into where when you jump on the scoreboard, you have a latency readout. Sometimes that will be on the lower side, but you'll notice that every single person in the game also has that low reading for latency, but rather they have high latency. With that being said, though, this game does show a lot of promise otherwise, and I really, really, really am excited for the future of this game. I had been recommended it by a friend of mine while waiting for Modern Warfare 2 to release. Overwatch is a game that had recently came out as well, so I was playing that, and he actually mentioned this game to me, and I'm glad he did, because I've been playing a crap ton of it. But other than that, guys, the link for this game is in the description of this video. It is, like I said, 100% free to play. You will be surprised, I think, when you try it out, how much fun this game can actually be. But other than that, thank you so much if you stayed till the end of the video. If you like this style of content, like I said, please, 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 it would be awesome if you could drop a like or subscribe to the channel even to keep up to date with more future content. I'm looking to kind of orient my YouTube channel towards a bit more traditional style videos rather than, full length live streams or highlight clips only. So anyways, I'll leave it at that. Like I said, thank you so much, and I'll catch you guys next time.